Real quick before this video begins, ad.
On the first day of Christmas, my best friend sent to me
a fortnight filled with rage.
Enough with the Christmas music. It's not even Halloween yet. Ugh, fine. Happy? Not really. But at least it's not completely Christmas. What a party pooper. Pumpkin.
Have yourself a bittersweet Thanksgiving. Let your bells be tight. From now on, your stockings will be out of sight. Have yourself a bittersweet Thanksgiving.
Zidane Danny, Electro Ninja here, and welcome back to Electro Ninja's Lab. In today's video, we are of course going to be talking about My Hero Academia, and if you guys watched my previous video about Hunter's Guild, then you would know exactly what that ad was about. Like, obviously, it should be pretty clear. Thanksgiving in the Lab is coming out soon, and I've posted a video that was specifically just the ad, but I really want to make sure that everyone knows about this, so yeah. Anyways, guys, today, like I said, we're going to be talking about My Hero Academia, the latest chapter, which, oh boy, it's another battle. It's the battle between Stars and Stripes, or whatever her name is, and, also, of course, frickin', Shigaraki, which I do have to say, I am intrigued with the fact that, at this moment, yeah, we now know what her actual power is, which I do have to say is interesting, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know. Like, we do find out that my little brief theory that I wasn't even completely sold on in the first place, yeah, it's not real. It's not true. She is not All Might's daughter, which honestly is a bit weird, but okay. Well, we get to find out some really cool stuff about her. Basically, first we learn about her new quirk, about the fact that if she can touch something and say its name, then it will, well, bend to her will, basically. She can say whatever she can give it an order and it will work, which, that's a weird, to be completely honest, it's kind of shocking that the American hero is the one who has that quirk. Like, yeah, that's not really something that Americans are known for. I don't know. It's a weird thing because, I don't know. There's a lot to it, and I'm not going to get into all of that right now, but it's a weird, like I said, it's a weird quirk for her to have. Yeah. It's not a huge deal, but it is interesting. But the battle goes on. It's a pretty simple battle. She has a frickin' Biggs and Wedge. I'm sorry. But someone in this battle, she two of her pilots specifically call each other, one calls the other Wedge, which, that's not really a thing. That's very very rarely will you have someone named Wedge without having, like, just out of the blue. It is 100% a freaking Star Wars reference / Final Fantasy reference. So now there is a Biggs and a Wedge that work for the American superhero. That makes sense. Considering the fact that Horikoshi is a big fan of Star Wars, this doesn't surprise me, but at the same time it's like, okay. I'm actually really intrigued to see if they're actually going to go that full-fledged route and have both of the have maybe in the next chapter Wedge's best friend is Biggs, and it's gonna be interesting to say the least. It like I said, interesting. I'm not 100% certain if they're actually gonna do that, but it would make sense to me. So there's that. Biggs and Wedge, possibly. And they shoot Shigaraki. They shoot him down, they try and get him down, but for some reason, Shigaraki is still able to do stuff and even without being able to breathe, and we realize very quickly that Shigaraki and All For One are basically merging into one body at this point, which is terrifying, to say the least. But it also makes a lot of sense considering the fact that those of us who have been looking at the story for this entire time, kind of know, like, he's been working on this for a while, trying to figure out exactly how to control someone. Yeah. And take over their entire body. Yeah, he's currently doing that in Vigilantes. Like, that is actually happening concurrently right now. There is a character who is being slowly taken over by All For One, and that is number 6. I'm not going to go too much more into the detail with that, but yeah, that's currently happening. And that apparently was his plan, to basically have it so that he and Shigaraki just conglomerate into one body, so that they are no longer Tomura Shigaraki. But, yeah. It does also lead me to question, though, what name is he, actually? Because she says that she has to say the thing's name, which I can't help but shake the feeling that that's kind of a weird thought process. Because she specifically says, like, air, and it bends to her will. But here's the thing about names. Names are different. Names are confusing. And really saying that your name is a weird thing, because in this case, Shigaraki and All For One are kind of using this idea to see if perhaps they can move without dying. It's a weird thing, but at the same time, I don't necessarily think that the reason that Shigaraki is able to move is because of the fact that he is no longer Tomura Shigaraki, but instead some new conglomeration. I think instead, Shigaraki it's because of the fact that that's not his name. Originally, it wasn't his name, which obviously that's a weird thing to say, because obviously names change, and the fact that air is something that she's able to say, air. And obviously, in Japanese, she is saying this in Japanese. She's not, as far as I'm aware, she's not saying this in English. They aren't specifically making it clear that they're speaking in English. But to be honest, they don't really make that clear in My Hero very often anyways. Like, remember, Pony, it's not clear that she's speaking in English most of the time when she's speaking in English. Especially if you're someone who is reading in English. But air is not the only name for air. I don't know what she's saying I don't know the exact words off the top of my head for each language, but the fact is that air is not the only name for air. Air can be called by many names, different names for basically every language. So it's a weird concept. They specifically make it out like this is a huge deal or something, but at the same time, I don't really think it makes much sense. Her quirk is a weird quirk. Like, she said, from what it sounds like, the way that her quirk should be working is if she believes that that is the name of the person, the name of the object, then that will cause it to bend to her will. That is what it is. It's not necessarily the fact that that is the name. She makes it out like, oh, that must not be his name. But the fact is that Air is also not Air's original name. To a degree, no one knows what Air's original name is. Depending on how you believe, whatever you believe for the origins of the universe, there are countless names that could have been Air's original name. And for for a Christian, for example, we believe in the Tower of Babel was where all of the languages changed. And as such, that original language, it doesn't exist anymore. So as such, the word air doesn't necessarily mean that that is its name. It's a complicated situation, and as such, I think that there's a lot that needs to be unpacked here, and also, I think that there should be some more insight into how this quirk actually works before we... I don't know. I think that Horikoshi kind of dropped the ball on this because, like I said, there's a lot to that. There's a lot to naming conventions and the names of things. If you're dealing with it being the first name or the name that people call it, or the name that most people call it, if that is if that's what determines it, then the name in Chinese would probably be the most common language, the most used version of the word for air. Yes, believe it or not, Chinese would probably be that. Either that or Spanish. English, probably not. Japanese especially not, though, because let's just be honest, yeah, you're not... Japanese is like one of the fewest spoken languages. Really the only people who speak it are people who live in Japan or people who are watching anime and stuff, which, keep in mind, there are a lot of people who watch anime, but not a lot of people learn Japanese. Like, just saying. So, I don't know, there's a lot to it, and it's really complicated, and I think that they need to... this quirk needs to be a bit more specified, because English, remember, is not the most spoken language. Like, it's spoken a lot. Enough that you want to know it if you're going to be talking across borders, but it's not the most spoken language. Chinese is, as far as I'm aware. So, yeah. I don't know. There's a lot to it. We'll have to wait and figure out exactly how they're going to handle it, but who knows? There is a lot to see for how they're going to handle this aspect moving forward. Because, let's just be honest, this is just the beginning. This battle is just beginning. Will Stars and Stripes die at this point? Who knows? I think that we do need to see Captain Celebrity. I don't care what position he's in now, but he should be involved with this. Like, I'm honestly really confused with the fact that he's not involved with this. Like, he was the #1 hero at his time, which means that Stars and Stripes just became the #1 hero, as in, like, within a few years. Because remember, Vigilantes is happening very, very quickly after, very quickly before My Hero Academia. Like, Deku hasn't gained a quirk yet, but, like, more than likely, a few days after Naruhata possibly could be when Deku runs up to save Bakugo. It's that soon. It is very, very quickly coming. And I'm not exactly certain on exact dates, but it's right around the corner, practically. So yeah, there's a lot to it. And we're going to need to talk about this as things come up, because Yeah, Deku is gonna be going through some crazy stuff soon. I don't know. There's a lot to it, and I don't know. Honestly, I think that Stars and Stripes will be saved, and I don't think that she's gonna lose her quirk, but it remains to be seen. I think that she could escape, absolutely. She is one of the most powerful heroes. She is... Remember, she was on the level of All Might, practically. And remember, there are a lot more heroes over in America than there are in Japan. Like, considering the fact that Captain Celebrity was the #1 hero there before, yeah, it's not really that impressive. Compared to All Might, it's not that impressive, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, there's a lot more heroes over in America. So, more than likely, she is close to the level of All Might at this point. At least close to Endeavor. So I think that more than likely what's going to happen is in the next chapter, we're going to be seeing either Endeavor or some other hero come in to save her and be like, yeah, that was Shigaraki. Try to avoid getting in trouble with him again. He's a bit of a pain in the ass. I don't know. There's got to be something, and I'm intrigued to see exactly how the creators are going to go about with making this story. Because remember that Horikoshi could change things very drastically. Who knows exactly what is going to happen? And honestly, I wouldn't put it past him to say, oh yeah, this is not the end at all. Like, this is the end for this arc, for this major part of the story, with Shigaraki finally being defeated / being saved. But All For One, nope, he's still kicking. Who knows? Because, yeah, at this point, the villains are winning, period. The villains are going to win. They are going to win at this point. The only way that they can win is if the Deku takes down Shigaraki, which, yes, it can happen, but at the same, it's very likely going to happen because of the story. But also remember that there is a high probability that the remaining villains will still be out there. Just saying. All For One may run back to the shadows. He's done it before, and I honestly believe that he'll do it again. Who knows exactly, but yeah. Some people have theories, some people don't. We'll see exactly how things turn out. Maybe Aoyama's the traitor. If you guys haven't seen that video by Vocal Pineapple, then probably you should. It is an interesting theory. I still don't think that it's accurate, but mostly because of the fact that I think that there's a lot more to freaking Hagakure than he's letting on. We'll have to wait and see exactly, but you guys should probably check that out too, because that's important probably. But anyways, guys, hopefully you've enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure to leave a like, leave your thoughts and theories down in the comments below. Of course, if you are going to leave a theory, make sure to say theory review somewhere in your comment. And of course, please subscribe and ring that notification bell. It helps us out a lot more than you may think. And of course, if you guys do want to support the channel even more, then definitely head down to the description and check out all of our links down there, including our social medias, our other channels, and ways you can support us financially, including the merch store, the book, and of course our Patreon, which a big thank you to our current patrons, Sheeny and Joseph, and also a big thank you to anyone who's been listening to the songs over on Spotify or wherever else you've been listening to them. And again, get ready for Thanksgiving in the Lab coming November 1st. But anyways, guys, I have been Electro Ninja, and I will see you guys next time. But on!